Hello and welcome to this special episode of the Money Marketing Podcast in association with Standard Life. In today's episode, I'm joined by Mark Baldwin from Standard Life. And before we get started, Mark, could you give us a bit of background into yourself and what you do at Standard Life?
Certainly. Morning. I'm head of smooth managed funds at Standard Life. And what that means is I run the proposition end to end. So the development and the launch of those solutions and then their ongoing management in market. And I also run the distribution of those funds with our wholesale partners.
Fantastic. So the focus of today's episode is going to be on why technical expertise alone isn't enough anymore and the business case for human first advice based on the NextWealth research that you funded or you commissioned. So Mark, let's start with the big picture. So Standard Life did commission this Beyond the Numbers report with NextWealth. What was the light bulb moment that made you realize we needed to stop talking about products and start talking about feelings and behavior?
Sure. Well, firstly, at Standard Life, we recognised that there are a number of parts to the financial planning puzzle. And we wanted to bring this research through so that we could really get some focus on those additional emotional behavioural traits of why people invest, how they react when they're investing. So it was important for us to bring that to the forefront. The light bulb moment, clients need to understand what they're investing in. That's still very important. So it is still about product. It is still about fund solutions, etc., etc. But those behavioural aspects and the emotions that people have when they're investing, we feel are extremely important. Consistently, advisors told us that the breakthrough moments for them can often be when the emotional connection takes place. So it moves away from that product or fund choice and selection and more into then why people will invest the way they invest, how they will respond to different market situations and dynamics. And ultimately, when you get those ingredients, the importance of how clients then feel more connected to their investing journey.
Right. And there is a great line in the report that says the most effective financial plan is the one clients will actually stick to. And 84% of advisors agreed. So do you think the industry has historically spent too much time building the perfect mathematical plan and not enough time building the stickable plan?
Well, firstly, that 84% data reference seems like correct, right? That is compelling in what it's telling you.
Yeah.
The difference between portfolio construction to maximize returns versus portfolio construction that's focused on returns and also recognizes the emotional and behavioral traits of the client are completely different. Clients are people, they're not spreadsheets. So it's not that we've spent too much time doing the wrong things historically, but there needs to be a mathematical plan in place, that's true, but is that where advisors deliver the most value? Hasn't technology and more importantly AI as we move forward been able to take the heavy lifting of those sorts of aspects of the mathematical plan and allow advisors then to focus more on that emotional connection and understanding the behaviours of people and how they respond to different circumstances. So it isn't that we've been doing things incorrectly historically, it's just that clients and financial planning are evolving. Clients have to take more personal responsibility more than ever on their own financial health and their own health and well-being.
Right. And the report uses this analogy of an iceberg where the numbers are just the tip, but the real drivers are hidden beneath the surface. From your view at Standard Life, are you seeing that advisors who dive deep below the surface are running better businesses?
Well, I think in terms of running better differences, it's not really a data reference for us to make that judgment. But what I will say is that the tip is what clients will naturally talk about. They'll talk to you about their goals. They'll talk to you about their financial health and status. They'll talk to you about what they want to achieve and when they want to achieve it. Below the line, so what's under the surface, is what can really drive their behaviour as a saver and an investor. And there you're looking at things like money experiences, perhaps in childhood, experiences of financial trauma, people's values, their purpose, how they're emotionally connected. So it's a lot deeper than just those numbers, those natural ways that a client will respond to a financial advisor's questioning. What I can tell you is what advisors told us through the report. And there's three core things in that respect. One is that behavioural factors are crucial to effective advice. The second is that most advisors do pick up on behavioural cues, but they don't necessarily have a set process of how they're looking for that in their interactions with clients. And thirdly, for many advisors, modelling and coaching now with clients have become a more important part of the role.
Okay. So we are 10 years from pension freedoms now. The Freedoms Report mentions that consumers are still confused by their options. Does that confusion make the behavioural side of an advisor's job more important than ever?
It certainly does. I mean, unfortunately, confusion will still exist, certainly in the short term. As an industry, we are doing and have historically done a lot to try and remove that confusion, but it does persist. Only 1 in 10 people will access financial advice, and that is a real great way of removing that confusion. But for the 9 in 10 that don't access the advice, they still make their own decisions based on their own judgment, talking to family, friends, etc. But it becomes a reliance on themselves. And that's where the confusion really does continue to persist. So the options at retirement for customers have not really broadened since Freedoms, but there have been new product launches, there have been new funds that have been launched. So there are more choices to be made, but the fundamental choice for somebody retiring is still whether to secure their retirement income through an annuity, for example, so certainty, or to head down the flexibility route and manage a retirement journey through drawdown. Those are the real distinct choices. What we've witnessed is a focus on this centre ground of being able to deliver both the certainty and the flexibility. And there have been new solutions coming through in that area, and there will continue, we believe, to be further solutions aimed at that centre area, let's call it.
Okay.
But from a behavioural perspective, yes, absolutely, in answer to your question, it becomes far more important to enable advisors to help clients navigate their journey to and through retirement.
Right. And finally, there is a lot of fear that behavioral finance means needing a psychology degree. But the report suggests it is often just about better questioning. How can advisors start small without overhauling their whole process?
Yeah, so this is a people-orientated profession.
Yes.
That has always been the case, and it will remain to be the case. I've been in this industry for just shy of 30 years. Technology has created great efficiencies over that period of time and will continue to create more and more efficiencies. The profession has never moved away from the fundamentals of client and advisor relationships being at the core. So it's really about perhaps redefining questioning techniques. It's more about empathy than it ever has been. It's about emotional connection to financial planning for clients. Not saying that those have never existed, but of course they have. But it's the fact that they're more relevant and more powerful than ever. So advisors can start by considering what questions they ask of their clients, considering whether these are the tip of the iceberg aspects that I referred to earlier, or whether they're below the line, whether they're diving into those emotional connections that clients will have with financial planning. There's a great section in the report that covers all of this, section 2.2, methods of adoption. I'd recommend people have a look at that and get some pointers and some steers about how they can navigate in that way rather than, as you referred to, a complete overhaul of the process.
Yeah. Well, thank you for speaking with me today, Mark, and delving into this NextWealth report. For more information, we will have the report linked in the description bar. So thank you again, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you.